listening to Blue Collar Tribe Podcast. I am your host, Splash, and do I have a show for you? Now, listen, before we get into the show, I want to thank my sponsor, Graco. If you've not heard of the 390 PC from Graco, you are missing out. It's a battery operated, powered by DeWalt FlexVolt. Absolutely love this system. This is a system that Splash, I've used it since they came out. I love it. You can get about 3 to 4 gallons out of each battery charge. So you're able to flow a lot of paint on the walls or whatever building you're applying your application to and killing it. So reach out to your nearest Graco vendor and pick up yourself a sprayer today. Tell them Splash sent you. And enough with that. We have a very interesting conversation. Before we get into it, please stay with me. I have a very special guest, my friend Spencer, Mr. Plant Powered. We are going to talk about Google. Now, don't run away. Please don't run away. This is important to you as a business owner, or if you're potentially considering opening up a business, or the third option, you see that your company that you're working for is struggling and you want to help because you have an understanding of Google or you have a little bit of background on it. We're here to talk to you about today about the biggest amount of money I ever spent on my business, but it made me succeed. So Spencer, how are you doing today?
What's up, Splash? I'm well, man. Living the dream, brother.
Yeah, you are. So let's dive. I mean, this is kind of a weird thing to introduce because this is one of the most important things a business can do is show up on Google.
Yeah.
You hear all the time as a business owner, oh, where can I find you? Where are you at? And a lot of people have this mentality of like, oh, I'm on social media. I'm on the Instagram. I'm on the TikTok. I'm on the YouTube. That's all great. But when you're in a contractor-based business, which is Blue Collar Tribe, you have to be found on Google.
Yeah, I think your socials is kind of a place that people go after you've already been found. It's the place where they go to, that's a place for you as a contractor to build credibility, for these people to trust you, to actually hire you to do whatever the project is. But initially, if you're not being found when they search, painter near me or, roofer Tulsa or whatever, they happen to be searching, if you're not coming up there on the top, you're losing out. What we say is within the map pack, which is the top 3 within Google, right next to the map. That's where the majority of the traffic comes from. Most people are too lazy, Splash, to even click in on page 1 to see the other listing, below the top 3. Most of the time, they're just going to call from the top 3 down, get bids, and go with one of those top 3 companies.
And that's exactly why you see whatever contracting service you're in, your competition ahead of you, because they have more ratings. They have someone like Plant Powered Marketing that's helping them out. So I'm going to pull the curtain back on this and be transparent with Splash Painting UT LLC. That was the name of my company. When I launched my business, the day I got my license, the very next day, I actually have a video of it. My wife recorded it because it was an important thing for me to get that license. But I remember the next day, I called a bazillion places. I needed 2 things. I was at least smart enough in my business mind to know I need a website to drive traffic to, but I needed that website to show up, to let people know in the Utah area, Splash is here. I'm ready to go. So whatever business you're in, congratulations. You open up a business. I'm proud of you. You did something not a lot of people can do. Let's get to the harder part of maintaining that. Now, you can work in HOAs, which I worked in. That's where I live at. I work in an HOA community. So I don't spend a tremendous amount of dollars on marketing. I think my total in marketing for the whole life of my existence in that business was $7,000. That's including the website, some trailers, and some, business cards. I mean, a lot of people hit marketing the old school way, or at least hope they do. They get their business cards, yard signs. They're helpful, but that doesn't help everybody that's not on social media, that doesn't drive around, that's very yellow book. If you're old enough to remember what a yellow book is, your grandma probably sat on one to drive around to take you to the little restaurant during the middle of the day. But Google is the newest and will forever be, as far as I can see in our lifetime, this space where people go to do that. So when you talked earlier about people aren't going up, I want to dummy that down. When people aren't going to the second page or third page to find you, when people go to Google, they're really looking. Do it right now on your phone. If you're driving, pull over, look for something. You're probably going to look at 3 or 4 people, and then you're going to move on.
Yeah,
So,
Splash, let me clarify,
yeah,
because a lot of people
please
don't
do.
realize how specific this is, you guys. Google has it down to mile per mile radius. So, for example, where you're currently sitting right now, where your office is or your business, quote unquote, is located by Google, you could be ranking number one for whatever the keyword is, painter near me. But you drive 2 miles away from your office or the warehouse, and now you're ranking number 3 for that keyword. And you drive 4 miles away, and guess what? You're on page 6, ranking number 6. And then you drive 10 miles away, and now you're on page 3 on Google for that same keyword. This is super hyper local. So, you hear me talk about near me because that's probably the most popular search term right now. Because people, when they search tacos, now, Splash, I know you're a fan of tacos.
I
Bro,
love me a taco.
when you do tacos near me, does Splash want to drive 10 miles away for tacos near me? No, they are serving up the most hyper local business that's close to the area because they know that people want, like, truly people that are the best, that's the closest, because it's the most convenient. Now, we live in that Amazon type of culture where we want convenience. And the whole concept is like, let's make sure that you're ranking with a large radius on the map, not just in your backyard.
No, you're right. I don't understand a lot of this. When I started my business, I didn't know. So I would tell anyone that's listening to this or has someone that is in the realm of being a business owner wanting to, we're going to dummy down Google here. What he's talking about in the maps, keyword specific, and there's going to be terms that I don't even know, because I remember when we were setting mine up, they were just throwing words at me that I was like, what? Like, what area do you want to be in? What zip code? Because like in my neighborhood, I don't know how, and we can maybe get into this, like where I live at in my city, there's 3 zip codes, and one of them is brand new. I live in my street address is the newest of those 3 zip codes. So you're talking about people in New York. I know you deal with most people in the United States. I don't know if you're outside of the US with what Plant Powered Marketing does, but talk to us about the zip code aspect. Is there an importance to that? Because I remember every time I had my quarterly meeting with my websites, and I'm the one that set that quarterly meeting up. It was just something I wanted to. I knew there was value to it, but I didn't want to spend a lot of time. So once a quarter was good for me. But they were always talking about my city, my zip code, the area, and they were getting down to like locations. Like, okay, are you near I'm in Utah, so are you near this temple? And that was always the thing, because they know I live in Utah, but it could be a bar or it could be a Home Depot or something. How does that work with what you guys can help a contractor build up and show?
Yeah, so I mean, we're just thinking about human nature for the most part. We don't get as specific as zip code because I don't feel like personally people type in a zip code with like a painter, isn't as far as a search term. But they are going to type in like, and so let me kind of like, I guess let's break this down on how search really even works. Majority of searches are coming from, these handy dandy mobile devices. Probably about 80% of these guys of the traffic comes from that mobile device. Now, with that being said, there is what is known as a mobile proxy. It's essentially like an IP address that your phone, it's basically your location of the device. So if you search, you don't even have to search, blank town in Utah. You can just search tacos near me or tacos or whatever the case is, and your mobile device is projecting the signal that tells Google, which is majority where the traffic is. Your most popular search engine is Google. Yes, there's the Yahoos and the Bings out there, but I mean, when was the last time you heard somebody Bing that? Why don't you go Bing that?
That sounds like a great T-shirt.
Bing that. Maybe that's a Blue Collar Tribe T-shirt. Bing that. They're like, what the hell are you talking
I like that. So
but
do this. I just Googled HVAC near me.
Yeah.
So I'm doing this live. I don't need one, thank goodness. Let's knock on wood and all those things. And it showed up the city next to me, but it said allow specific location. And I'm imagine everyone's going to hit that button that says allow. Now, mine should be specific to my location, but every few times, you're right though. And I never noticed this until you, I mean, I'll notice it now more, but when you go type in anything, the first thing that comes up is always what you're looking for. Tacos. I'm hungry now, by the way. Tacos. And then near me. That's always what it is. So you're saying that Google's now changed that. So this is a change for all of Google, not just specific to like a clothing store, but it's for tacos, any kind of blue collar work, even the white collars, dentist, pink collars, haircuts. But it changed it. So when I hit near me, it actually changed the location because the last time I was looking for something on Google, I was at a city called Riverton. I was looking for something at a Home Depot to see if they had it for me, and they didn't. But now I'm seeing I get 5, and that's all I'm going to scroll down to. I'm going to scroll down, and I'll be honest with you. I'm going to look at the map and then look at those first 4 companies that came up.
And then you're probably part of how you're going to then decipher on who you should call, because sometimes the number one position isn't solely based off reviews, guys.
It says sponsored. Mine says sponsored.
Yes. So that is a paid ad. So that is why there's 4. The map pack is known as the 3-pack.
Okay.
Those are all organic. And how you get there is by working with companies like myself to develop the back end of your Google My Business listing. That is how those people are showing up within the map pack. There's a lot to it, more than just reviews, but reviews are a factor. Now, Splash, if you were to like make a phone call or decide on out of those 3 who you're going to call, I'm sure reviews is a factor. But depending on what the service is, you're probably going to want a few bids in your back pocket. I know this summer we never built a deck before. And I had a couple companies come out, and it was literally a $50,000 to like a $35,000 deck with the 2 bids.
Damn.
The same thing, basically, right? We're talking about this huge thing. That's why, like, buyer intent is always typically getting, 2 or 3 bids in their pocket. Then they go with a contractor who probably isn't always the cheapest, but the one that they felt the most comfortable with. And price obviously is always a factor.
So the myth, and like I said, I'm live. I've not changed my page. I'm looking at my phone. You listening can't see it if you're watching us live on Blue Collar Tribe Facebook group or in the YouTube page, The Real Splash. That's me. You could maybe see if I showed you my phone. So you talked about the reviews. I was always under the impression the better the review, the more stars, the better. So let's remove the sponsor. Now we know that. So what you're going to see that. So if you go with, with Plant Powered, you may see sponsors ahead of you. That's because they've paid Google X amount. Google's a business themselves. They want to get paid. But the first one
will say ad or sponsor.
Yeah, this one says sponsor. So I'm going to dingate that. That one, they have 15,000 stars. That's a lot for a contractor. I know who the company is. Kudos to them. They've been around. But after the sponsor, they're probably making a lot of money to be able to pay for that sponsorship. The first one that shows up is 35 reviews. The second one is 98. The third one is 369.
Yep.
So
there's factors on the back end. Number one, what Google's looking for. There's ways of setting up what they call. So in order to appear in that Google, in that pack of 3, that is to do with what they call the Google My Business listing. Now, this is, you guys, for your contractors that may have not done this before. This is where you go on, you create a Google My Business listing attached to your Gmail account. Typically, they'll mail you out a postcard with a 5-digit PIN number on it. You get that postcard, you type in the 5-digit PIN number, and it verifies your account that you're a legitimate business. Then there's a whole back end of it that has services and products and like your website and all this your business description and all this good stuff on the back end that a lot of people, once they verify it, Splash, they think, oh, I'm good to go. Some people don't even verify it, man. Like I had my my barber. I was in getting he'd been cutting my hair for probably, I don't know, a couple of years. And I said, hey man, like, I noticed you don't have a Google My Business set up. He goes, no, I do. And so I talked to him. I said, did you get the postcard? Did you verify? Oh, what postcard? And I was like, hey, like you may or may not know this, but I was literally sitting out. I had done this previously. Obviously, I'm a business person. and I want to help out the dude that cuts my hair. So I was like, I was sitting outside your barber shop. Now there's, within this like couple block radius of this downtown area, there's like 5 places that you could, between the salons and barbershops you could get your haircut. And I was like, I Googled haircut near me, and he didn't pull up. And he's like, what do you mean I don't pull up? I'm like, it's because you haven't verified your account with Google. He goes, oh my God, dude. So like nobody knows they don't even know I exist. I said, exactly.
That is such an awful feeling.
Important. Yes, it's very important that you verify these accounts. And then either if you're computer savvy, optimize the back end of this thing, or pay a company like us to get this thing to pump up, because, with the majority of our clients, we're able to get you, in that 3-pack for a lot of your particular keywords. And the great thing about it is Google is consistently rewarding people that participate on their platform. And what do I mean by that is that if we optimize that back into your Google My Business listing, a lot of times Google then gives you additional keywords. So let's say you had 50 keywords that people typically look for your landscaping services or lawn care or whatever you do. They're going to reward us now that they see that we participated, and give you additional keywords that just allow more ranking potential, so you can dominate and put more money in your pocket, which is what all of any business owner wants to do, is make some cash.
Yeah, we want to work less and make more. So let's remember the word optimization for me. We're going to get to that, but I want to talk about something, backtrack back to the Google My Business. I will bet a lot of my listeners probably aren't even aware of this. So let's kind of backtrack this up, because I was told from someone else that I didn't even know. When I started my business, he owned a business, just said, hey, make sure you set up my Google. I'm like, what are you talking about? I have a Gmail account. So what you're talking about is when you set up your Gmail account that's listed to your business, you're given a free My Business page. And I think that's what it's called, is Google, Google My Business.
Yep. Or you'll hear people refer to it as GMB in the marketing space.
Okay.
And they've also changed it recently to a GBP, which is Google Business Profile, is what they're going by. That's a recent change. Most of us seasoned vets can't adapt to the new GBP.
But it's important. It's something that you need to fill out and take care of. Now, what you're talking about is the keyword. I remember setting mine up. It asked me, what are keywords? Don't laugh at me, Spencer, but I had to Google what that meant. Yeah. But I say that because, business owners, like, we have an ego. We know you did something a lot of us don't do. A lot of people don't do. I did, so I got to include myself in doing so. But you're not done. So doing something with Plant Powered Marketing, or any company that is going to help optimize you more, is only going to take a lot of that load of work that you've built and created, and that you refocus your attention. I talk about this on another podcast. Like, you got to take all that attention that you're good at. You're great at pitching a roof. Your deck, I've actually personally seen your deck. I don't know which bid you took, but whatever bid you did right, because it's beautiful. And what it does is state of the art. I didn't even know that was an option, and you live in a very rainy city, so it makes sense. But at the end of the day, us contractors have a very good idea. So what I'm saying is think of it as tools, contractors. When Milwaukee, Bosch, Flex, when they come out with new tools, you're like, I'm going to get one. And mama and dad may be like, no, you don't need that, but you still go get it. This is the same tool. This is an important part of your business, because if you don't have this, you're going to be behind the competition. Now, anyone that's listened to me in the last 6 seasons, I've always said, no one is my competition in Utah. That came with the reason of saying, listen, when I go to Sherwin-Williams as the painter, because that's my trade, there's always paint there. But now I'm going to backtrack just a tinge on that comment. Your competition is on Google. Because if you're building your business to have employees, which then means you're now responsible for Jimmy's wife, and their 3 kids, and Susie and her 5 kids, or 3 kids, she's a single mom. That's a lot of responsibility. So that's like, in my mind's eye, I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I'm going to say it. That's like giving someone a Ryobi drill that's know it's going to last them for 3 months, opposed to giving them like a Flex, a Bosch, a Milwaukee, and be like, listen, you're going to have this for a long time. So when we talk about optimization, which I want to break down, I want to get back to that, is like why this is important. It's another tool. And if we think about it in that sense as a contractor, like this is just me buying something off the shelf that is going to do the work for me. I buy my Graco paint sprayer because it sprays the building for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to do it. So when you talk about optimization in the back end, Google My Business, and I'll screenshot that. I know you have some screenshots. I'll put it on there on the day this post goes live. But if you don't know, please DM me, and I'll at the end of the show, we'll tell you how you can get a hold of Spencer and his team because they do a phenomenal job. But it's important that you're doing these steps because when you're talking about optimization, what is it? If we can dummy that down for us, like optimizing what? What are we optimizing when you hear that word that honestly makes me want to run away?
Yeah. So I think first off, Splash, I need to kind of backtrack a little myself. I know contractors in general because that is the niche that I deal with on a daily. You guys, there's a lot of you that have been burnt. And marketers get bad reputations, just like you guys do as contractors. And so there's good contractors out there, just like there's good marketing companies. And so I caution you guys to make sure that you're working with a company that actually knows what the heck they're doing. Companies that are able to build a website that actually makes your phone ring is super important, you guys. There's website companies out there that will build you the most beautiful Cadillac of a website. And when I ask these people, I say, hey man, that site looks great. How many phone calls do you get? And they go, well, what do you mean? Like, we don't get really anything from that. That's a problem.
But it looks nice.
But it looks nice. I don't want the contractors that I work with, I do not want them to have like a modern day business card, which is basically a beautiful website. Because at the end of the day, you guys, if it's not making your phone ring, then why the hell do you even have it? Why did you pay, whatever you paid, $4,000 or $5,000 to have a nice website built for you, and it doesn't make your phone ring?
Do you see that a lot with contractors that come to you? Like, is that a common thing?
What I see is like literally the contractor Splash that built the website themselves, and it looks like you did it yourself. You know what I mean? And that is the image that nobody wants to see, you guys. So like Splash is saying, look at your marketing as an extension, like another tool. Hire a company, hire professionals to do this stuff, because at the end of the day, dude, like I probably could have learned how to build that deck this past summer, Splash. But I can tell you this much, bro. Like, you saw that deck. Like, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't look like that if I did.
Oh, hell no. I've seen some of your handyman work. I love you.
Want to know why it wouldn't have looked like that? Is because I'm not an expert. So, I am a big fan of staying in your lane, knowing what you know, and outsourcing what you don't know. So don't build your own dang website, because when a person is shopping you and they're trying to find out, gosh, should we use Splash to paint our house? And they come to Splash's website and it looks like his kid built his website that, is a kindergartner. I'm going to run. Yeah. And it's probably not a direct reflection of Splash's company and the work, but the website looks like shit. And I just have to assume if this guy's not willing to invest in his company to make his website look good, he probably doesn't do quality work. Now, that's a wrong assumption probably in a lot of ways, but probably a right assumption in a lot of ways as well.
It goes back to the appearance. You get one opportunity to make that appearance, whatever other word I'm missing right there. But like, you get that. It's important. And I want us to continue this conversation knowing like, this is another tool. This is just an extension of your toolbox. It's an extension that doesn't fit in your van. It doesn't sit on a shelf and take space up, because that's a huge thing as all contractors think like, oh, I want this. But before we go any further, I need to get to my sponsor. And funny, let's take a listen to this one.
Attention Tribers. Plant Powered Marketing is your cutting-edge marketing agency specializing in SEO, Google My Business, website development, and many other strategies that get you ranked #1 on Google. We're your go-to marketing agency for businesses who want to see real, tangible results from their online presence. Our team of experts has years of experience in getting businesses to the top of Google and generating leads through effective online marketing campaigns. Remember to let us build your next website. Contact us if you want to outrank the competition. Plant Powered Marketing, 971-570-0511 or plantpoweredmarketing@gmail.com.
I love it. Is it
Dude,
funny hearing your own?
Yeah, I have to say, bro, that company sounds badass.
That's your company. You are badass. That's why I have you on. We're going to help contractors across the U.S. I don't know if you branched out in other areas because my podcast, we are worldwide. You know,
I mean, we're willing to work with worldwide companies. Sometimes there just becomes a little bit of a sometimes language issues with content on websites where, you know, my team and myself may not speak that language. Obviously, it's a first language. Google is only so good with
their translation,
the translation of things. So a lot of times what we do, like we have some Spanish speaking clients. My team doesn't speak Spanish, nor do I. Nor do I read it. So we have to Google Translate it, send it over. So no, we're willing to work with worldwide clients, but yes, we're all over the States for sure.
So one big thing I know that contractors are going to want, like, Splash, just get to the fucking bullshit. What's it cost? First and foremost, you do an audit. And I love that about your company because you're not just telling someone, I know you best. Now, as a contractor, we should be able to appreciate that and say, hey, I'm not just I'm not a $150 room. I'm not just going to plumb for $95 an hour. Like, we've built ourselves up and we've earned the right to say, hey, this is my price. Again, let's go back to your deck, 50,000 or 35,000. You got to choose which way you wanted to go based on the amount. Same thing with you. When you talk about an audit for a company, three things, I'll ask you three things, then I'll let you answer them. One, if we called, what do we get? What are the options? You heard it in there, but let's kind of slow that down a little bit. Websites, what you offer them. And two, talk about what is in this audit. And then three, I think your audit will get into it. Heat maps. I love them. I get lost when I see your page talking about them.
Yeah.
But if we called Plant Powered today, that number, we'll play it at the end of the show so you have it again. What is it that we're going to get so that we can get to a position of being in your audit group so we know what to expect from a pricing standpoint?
Yeah, so I think the first question was, what do we offer? What is that commercial that we just heard? Like, if we kind of slow things down, we work on that Google My Business listing. We're optimizing the back end, and I know we briefly touched about it, but what does that really mean? Is on the back end, there's places for us to list your products. Now, products is this kind of weird thing. When you're like a painter, you're like, well, what products do I have to offer? I don't really have a product. You do, because your product is exterior painting, interior painting, residential painting, commercial painting, and then you can get even more specific with whatever types of, you know,
like cabinets, crown molding.
Correct. Yeah. So we're talking about like specifically kind of your service tabs that would be listed on your website would be your products. Now, then there's a services categories. Now, Google does give some predetermined services based off of the category that your GMB, your Google My Business listing is set up. And so we're going to optimize out that back end, which services are AKA your keywords. So like, for example, might be exterior painting, might be a specific type of vinyl siding painting. I know you and I talked about that when we were up here, when we first bought this house that we're in now. Somebody used the wrong type of vinyl painting and it caused this like buckling thing, and you explained how it worked to me. So like you get very specific with those keywords because people are going to be on the internet and maybe they do Google vinyl siding exterior painting expert or something, and then boom, Splashco pops up because they called out that specific of service. So there's a whole back end that people think like, oh, that's verified, we don't have to do anything. Now we just sit back and twiddle our thumbs and wait for Google to do its thing. Yes, but you need to have an expert take care of that back end of things. Website development. You obviously hear we build beautiful websites. We build websites, you guys, that actually rank. What do I mean by that? is a lot of times these people that are building the websites, they don't realize that the content, which is the words that are on that website, is what determines Google what you do and where you do it at. So for example, Google's not really great with reading pictures. It may be this, a picture of a nicely landscaped yard. And you have oh great, like Google knows what that is. They don't. I mean, yes, they're getting a little bit smarter with their AI technology, but we have to, on that website, tell Google exactly what you do and where you do it at, because it's reading the words and it's scraping your website and indexing it so that when somebody Googles painter, Salt Lake City, Utah, Google goes, oh, hey, I know that, Salt Lake painters, Painting Pros is the top company for that. Boom. Now you're pulled up in Google. We also do on-page and off-page SEO. I know those are very, very intimidating words. Search engine optimization is what SEO stands for. That's what is going to essentially get you ranked with your website as well. So we do pretty much inclusive. Splash, what I tell people is we do things like anything that gets you ranked on Google. That's what we do. That's what we're experts in. Organically, meaning like you can go pay Google ads to run an ad for you, and you're paying X amount of money every day, you're throwing it away. My goal is for people that, if you're doing that, to get you to rank organically so you don't have to stop paying what we call Uncle G, which is Google, and paying them, because there's no end to that. You're going to consistently have to pay to play. When you're ranking organically, you can pay a company like us, like a one-time project fee or a small fee over a course of months, depending on what the project is. And we continue to keep you ranked at Google. Once typically people are ranked in Google, it's like maintenance on your house. Oh, once in a while you might need to put some new siding on it. Oh, once in a while you might need to, it's like, or maintenance on your car. Oh, it needs a tune-up. Oh, it needs an oil change. Most of the time, unless something like tragically happens, you'll retain that, a very high ranking once you're up there.
So when you go to keywords, I want to back up real quick if I can. When you say back pages, what you're saying is when you set up your Google page, there's a second page, from my understanding, basically, that you put your keywords in. So I'm going to break it down a little deeper with the keywords you're talking about. So like if you live in Florida, you need to have Venetian walls, Venetian plaster. If you live in Arizona or Nevada, you need to have stucco. You need to have, if you're a roofer, Adobe. There's certain, those are keywords. So when you're talking about keywords on your back page, basically, like, I know you can tell me if I'm wrong, but on YouTube, when I set up the YouTube page, which was recent, this is where my memory is coming from, like it said keywords and it gave a little description, like what is on your shopping list, and I was like, that makes sense.
Think about what is it if you're a landscaper, what are some of these things that people would be looking for? We're familiar with the niche, like a lot of my landscapers will say, oh, we do hardscaping. Okay, well, I'm not, like, as a regular consumer, I don't know what the hell that really even means. Oh, well, so break it down for me. Oh, well, we do retaining walls. We do outdoor patios. We do outdoor kitchens. So those are those services that we need listed in there, because people are jumping on Google every day and they're Googling outdoor kitchen builder, retaining wall builder, keywords like that. And you guys want to be popping up.
Billions of people,
yes.
Billions every day get on the websites. So the back pages, if you need more help on that, comment on the threads. Spencer has access to the Blue Collar Tribe Facebook page, so he can, him or his team can pop in and answer any questions that you may have. But when we look at auditing, how does that work for you? Like, I'm going to call you today, say, hey, look, I'm going to start splash painting up again. I'm really not, but I'm going to start splash painting up again, Spencer. I need a website. I know it's important.
Yep.
But I don't have anything set up. Let's go two roads here. Let's say I don't have anything set up. I'm a new contractor.
Yeah, I'll give you both scenarios, Splash. So the reason why we don't have this like one price fits all, Like, oh, what's this cost? I can give you kind of a ballpark figure on some of our products, but we really like to look at each individual business specifically, because what happens is, for example, everybody is at this different place within their business. Maybe they have a website built. Yes. Oh, we don't need a fresh website, Splash. Like, it's already built. But that website may be not quality. Maybe it's the one that Splash had his son build. That's, he thought he knew what he was doing. It doesn't look good. Everybody's at this kind of different place within their business. They have certain, like, this is, if we imagine a big puzzle, everybody has puzzle pieces, but they may not fit together. So we look at everything from the perspective of, okay, do you have a Google My Business set up? Okay, great, you do. Now, have you verified it? Okay, it's verified, great. Now, is it optimized? Has somebody gone in the back end? Are you ranking? Okay, so this is what your rankings look like, and that's where I'll touch on the heat map at the end, but that's where we pull in these fancy heat map graphs that Splash will share within the comments here. But it shows the radius of where you guys are ranking, mile per mile, from where your Google My Business is set up. Then we look at your website, and we go through your website, and we make suggestions to your website. Or if you don't have one, obviously we need to talk about that, because, just like there's foundations in contracting companies of, like, maybe foundational equipment that you need to run a contracting business, or, I got to have a truck, and it's got to be able to hold some ladders, and it's got to have X, Y, and Z. The same thing with your digital business. I'm a firm believer in a website that actually produces phone calls and an optimized Google My Business listing. That is going to get you a pretty solid foundation to where then you could start really stacking on more advanced type of strategies.
Nice. And by auditing, you're just looking, you're seeing their location. I mean, Florida is going to be different than Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis, Tennessee is going to be different than North Dakota. North Dakota is going to be different than Long Beach, California, So if you're sitting back listening to this, driving to work and thinking, especially right now, I mean, we're recording this the day before Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving, by the way, buddy.
Yeah, you too, right?
But this is a slow time for businesses, and it's an extremely slow time. So when you're sitting back, and I would imagine, I would love to hear some comment on the post when you see this. Like, did you worry? Have you looked at your business page? These are things you got to ask yourself. I mean, you gave the perfect analogy of a vehicle. You have a work truck, you check it, you got to put oil in it. It's the same thing with your website. You need to at least do some maintenance on it. I said I did mine quarterly just because I'm a dork, but also I know the value in it. So be a dork like me. But, like, how often is there a suggestion, or does that also vary on your marketplace and what kind of business you're in, that you would say, hey, let's maintain this?
I don't think there's anything that's like a rule of thumb, but a lot of, like, what I would say is always have a good, like, after it's initially built, always have a good, company, marketing, website company in your back pocket, because things change, things break. If you use a WordPress website, which a lot of sites are built on, that's what we build on. Plugins need updated. Sometimes, because the plugins, you guys, which is a fancy little name for something within your website that makes it work, those are built by individual developers, not like these big companies that you'd think of. It could be Splash could put out a plugin, and maybe Splash accidentally, his computer gets hacked, and now that plugin is got, like, some spam stuff on it, and then you just click a button because you're a contractor and you don't know what the heck you're doing, and you upload it, and now things are screwed up on your website. Versus having a professional team on the back end that goes in and they take care of all this stuff. But I mean, I there's not like a quarterly type of thing, but I would always say, like, at least probably once a quarter, have somebody go through, make sure everything's functioning correctly. You're, sometimes, like, even the quote buttons or you click to contact us forms are broke. They just break, right? And so, like, that's a loss of business, guys. And if you don't have somebody that's, like, consistently, checking things, or you're just like, gosh, things have gotten slow lately, and you're not thinking, well, gosh, maybe my website's broke.
Yeah. It's like anything. Again, it goes back to the analogy I said. You're by going with plant powered marketing, you're adding another tool. It's going to set you apart. Those tools need to be clean, need to be catered to. We'll use that word. And go to your website. It's not like don't I remember when I got my website, I was so excited I'd go to it, and then I just forgot. And then as I went back and again, I started my issue that I had that made me say, hey, I need to pay more attention to is I kept getting business calls in Provo, which is not, it's about an hour and a half drive from me, but I didn't want to work up there for my own reasons. Like it doesn't suit, my business, it's a college town where I was getting a bunch of phone calls to, and I just, don't want to go work in it's great business if that's what your market is, but that's for you as a business or know where your market is. But you may not getting business. I could go, we could do the boroughs in New York. You may not be in where you need to be at. You may be having to travel across townships just because your Google isn't done right, and having a company. So if you have an existing page, you guys can help. If you don't have a page,
we can
you
help.
can help.
If you
That's
have
amazing.
If you have a suspended page, we can help.
Oh, you can help. You can do suspended pages.
Yeah. So we just got one back this morning from Google. The guy's like, here's the thing too, you guys, I want to caution you on the Google My Business. There's places that you don't want to mess with on there. Let me tell you the 4 places. Do not change your name on there, your address, phone number, and your website. Those 4 places, if you touch them, they could suspend your location, and now you're basically suspended. Is like you don't have a location. They pull it directly off Google Maps, and nobody can find you. And then, unfortunately, because Google works in like this cryptic, like very standardized language, you'll just get something that says your Google account doesn't comply with quality standards, and you're like, what? Like, I just changed my phone number. Like, what do you mean? Like, I got,
and that's pretty basic for anybody.
Yeah, it's super basic. And so I caution people because number one, the Google My Business it's a very important factor of your business. And I had a client, the guy that we used to detail our cars, a mobile detailer. We're in Mexico in September, and he goes into 3 of his locations and changes the phone number, and all 3 of them suspend.
Damn.
And he goes, holy shit, dude. I think I just cost myself $60,000 and set myself back 6 months. Because it took us probably, the last location we just got back to like a week ago. And this happened middle of September. Not due to like anybody's fault, except for don't mess with shit you don't know unless you know what you're doing. Not like I detail my own car, because I don't know how to detail a car, so just stay in your lane, you guys. But like, we can help with to unsuspend locations as well. We just got one back for a client this morning. We obviously charge additional money for this, but we jump through Google's hoops because we're experts at knowing what Google needs and what they're looking for. A lot of times it's just this we'll just say like very difficult. They don't make it easy, unfortunately. And a lot of this, you guys, it's robots that are controlling this. So when your listing suspends, it's not somebody that's sitting there going, oh, Splash changed his phone number, let's suspend his location. No, it's these like I guess an algorithm that you would look at that a robot that monitors this stuff says this looks unnatural and suspends the location. Then you have to jump through all these hoops that then actually goes to a human. So, and sometimes people just don't know where to start, or they've tried to get their listing unsuspended and they keep getting that just blanket statement of like, it doesn't comply with quality standards. And you're like, what the hell? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I've changed what I thought was wrong. So it becomes very, very irritating and can cost you a ton of money. Like I said, my mobile detailer said he probably lost him $60,000.
Damn. I'm going to put that into, I understand what you're saying, but I want to put it in like contractor terms so we can understand why this is important. When you do a job, you have all your tools handy. You You don't want the customer to touch your sprayer. You don't want him touching your arc welder. You don't want him dealing with the table saw that you have out there. It's the same thing. You're the professional. Let the professionals handle it. And I'm going to speak very transparent, which, most of my audience knows me that I speak this way, but stop fucking worrying about money. You're going to make the money. The less you have on your plate as a contractor, this comes from my own experience, the less you have to worry about because you've built your tool truck enough, the more freedom you have in your business. And I'm noticing this. I know no one's listened to, but I've recorded 5 episodes this season for season 7. And I'm hearing this common thread of, and I didn't do it intentionally. I think just the universe is working this way with me right now. It was like, I'm looking at the things that I wasn't as successful on or things I would have changed within my own business and wanting to share those and having friends like you're a friend of mine. You're like a brother to me, Spencer, and seeing you grow. And the one I talked to this morning, it's this thing of like, listen, we're going to help you build. These are just other tools. You're going to buy them anyways. Just like you're going to go to the taco truck tonight. Your wife probably has dinner plans already, or your husband does. And you're like, hey, Splash and Spence, the plant guy, they were talking about tacos. And I want to go to the taco truck because this down the street and I haven't had a taco like that in weeks. So you're going to go. It's the same thing. Put money into it. Invest into it. Whether you're a new business owner or you've been in business for 10 years. Get your shit checked out. Pay someone who's qualified, who knows, who can show you. And one thing I do like about your marketing company is you're very transparent on Facebook. You're there all the time.
Yeah.
You're posting, you're sharing success stories. The success stories are commenting back like, bro, you just made me this much money. It's there. It's not hard. It's tangible.
And the piece of this, right? I think a lot of people in general don't want to spend money. I get it.
We get it. We all get it.
Yeah, I'm a fucking minimalist. Like, as you guys know, Splash is a hippie. I'm a hippie. Like, I don't buy a lot of shit. Like, my flex is definitely not in material stuff. My flex is like experiences for my family or my fiance. And so it's hard for me to spend money, but I can tell you, I guarantee you that if you work with, and I don't care who you work with, if you work with a good marketing company, they are going to make that money that you spent back fucking tenfolds for you, guaranteed.
And quick.
Quick, yeah, because here's the thing, some of these strategies, they take a long time, you guys. I'm not going to say this is a fix all, this works overnight. That's not true. But we can show you results to where we have changed people's company in the matter of 2 to 3 weeks for the cost of $1,500. Like, we've taken them from ranking on an average of number 20 for their specific keywords that a person wants to rank for, and within 2 to 3 weeks be sitting at an average spot of 3. We've done this in huge cities, New York City as an example.
Didn't you just have a roofer in New York?
Spray foam.
Okay, yeah, spray foam.
Spray foam client in New York City, Manhattan, and Queens. He will dominate. And we just got another location in Brooklyn. He'll dominate the whole city of Manhattan, you guys. And the guys literally paid me less than $4,000. And I'm not saying that's normal. I'm just saying this dude is so busy, he doesn't even know what the hell to do with himself, because now he is when you search spray foam and you're in Manhattan or Queens and soon to be Brooklyn, he pulls up within the top 3. And that's amazing, you guys. So that little bit amount of money that he paid us, he's I guarantee he landed one job that paid him that money back.
Yeah.
It's all cash money in his pocket.
No. Spray foam is an expensive business. If you're in a smaller tier business, it's a buildup. It's okay. You'll get it. I mean, that's the whole reason you created a business. I think we forget about this as contractors. We created this badass business. We drink some beers, have a smoke with our friends, and we celebrate it, and fucking it's awesome. then you forget why. And sometimes that's hard to remember why. You had passion, you had love, and you are neglecting things. And this is just one of those things you just can't neglect because you didn't create that business. A lot of contractors that I personally know that I'm friends with, they've created this business to be generational. And I think that's just a blue collar mentality, like you have those that doctors want to be a doctor and there's the family chains, but I know plumbers that their kids, all five of their kids do different trades. Some of them just manage the business. It's all personality based and desired at the end of the day. But like this is generational things. The internet's here. It's not leaving, despite newspapers from 1998 and 2002. Like, it's a fad. It's gonna go away. No, we're here. Like it's fucking here. But you're building on something, and this is part of it that you can do with plant powered marketing. One question that popped up when you brought up the New York with the spray foam is, can you guys help expansion of companies? Because we may have guys and gals that are listening right now like, hey, you know what, Spence, I'm doing awesome. We're doing good, but I want to do a little bit better because I'm in Riverside, California, let's just say, and I'm ready to expand over to, I don't know where that is. I said a city I thought I knew was there, but like,
I might use Salt Lake area.
Let's use Portland. I'm in Portland, Oregon. I'm doing well. I want to get over to Vancouver, Washington. I want to get over to the Dalles, or and that's in Oregon, or I want to get over to Stevenson, which is over the bridge of the gods. Like, can you help companies expand, even if it's statewide? Because you said something that I did not know. Those 4 things: don't touch your name, your email, or your address, your phone number, and website. If I need to do that, so those are the 2 questions. 1, can you help expansion? And 2, if I need to do those, how we just call you, you can help with that. Because it could be something simple.
We normally don't do little things like that unless you're already a client. But here's the thing, like if somebody needs help, I'm not going to tell them no. I mean, something like that, we don't even have a price for. We probably just do that on good faith. Like, hey, I built my business a lot by just basically bringing a shit ton of value in the beginning. That's why we do these audits, is like, I'm going to present to you like probably an hour of work from my team for free and say, here you go do what you want with it. But I know for a fact that the majority of people, when we tell them like what's going on within their digital, their digital marketing ways to improve, we build trust that way. So the same thing is, if you have a problem like what Splash is talking about, you need, something like this changed, reach out to us. You'll have to just give us access to the Google My Business listing. We'll get in there, we'll change it. I'm always a firm believer that if the account does suspend, because we do have issues ourselves, we're not perfect with our strategies, but we know of techniques because this is what we do, and if it does suspend, we'll get it back for you more than likely. But as far as expansion, yes, of course we can help expansion. So prime example, we have a spray foam client. Not that I know we've mentioned spray foam here a couple times. That's not a specific niche that we work with, but it just happens to be one.
It's a big thing right now across the U.S. Weirdly,
it's
getting pretty big right now.
Big. So I have a client that's down in Baton Rouge, and like he dominates Baton Rouge now after working with us, and almost to New Orleans. Now, you guys, I've never been to Louisiana. Ever? Have you ever been to Louisiana, Splash?
I've driven through it last year. For like a minute.
I guess I lie. I've driven through it. It was really late. It was about 2-3 in the morning when I used to live in Florida, driving through the Baton Rouge area. But he now dominates almost to New Orleans, you guys, for spray foam, and that is a huge area. There is a specific area that he was weaker in called Covington. It's northeast of Baton Rouge. Anyway, he's like, there's some very affluent people out there. I'd like to get more business out there. Can you help me? You know the answer, man. Of course. Let's get a Google My Business listing set up out there in Covington and get a web presence there. So we're getting that set up right now. I mean, this is the same company that used to do about 30,000 a month, and within the first week of us, after optimization with his first listing in Baton Rouge, they'd had $38,000 collected within like the first week. So within the first week, they did 38,000 where they would normally do 30 in a whole month. So expansion, they when they saw that, they were like, holy shit, what else can you do for us?
Technology intertwines itself just as blue collars do. The world doesn't turn without blue collars. You got to have someone to build. Every building has about 6 different contractors that touch it. Technology is very similar in that space, and we need to respect that. You said something that I want to. We're going back to things because I really love to hear you talk. I love the words that you're splashing out. That like pay like you have a niche. If let's stick with spray foam. If that's your niche and you're good at spray foaming, and your wife says, "Hey, I need the yard done," I'm gonna bring it in-house for me. I'm a contractor. I feel like I'm pretty fucking badass. But there's a few things that my wife has said to me, and I'll be honest about flooring. Like, I could do the flooring in my house. I know damn well I could. We bought the house 3 years into it. The floor's lifting up where the water hits. And we've got 3 beds in one now, and we'll get it done. And my wife and I, the conversation dinner was like, we could do it together. I could do it alone. But I'd rather go out and paint and make money and pay a professional to come do it and get it done in 2 days opposed to my 7 weeks. Because those other 6 weeks and a half, that time is so fucking valuable to me. Yeah. And that's what I'm hearing you say is, listen, let us take care of this. It's going to cost you. It's not free. Nothing's free. Said you can call. I mean, every contractor that's listening to this, whether you've built your own business or you're getting ready to launch out on your own, remember what you said. I'll try to quote it, but like, it's the good old boy. I'm going to help you out. It's something small. I can fix a phone number. We know how to do it. When you're ready to get bigger, just remember who did that for you, because you're going to need it. It's the same thing as contractors. Hey, I'm going to do this house for you. I would typically charge $6,000, but I'm going to do it for $3,000. It's usually when you start out doing it, or you just need the money real quick. It's a quick flip for you. You do those good old jobs because that person's going to tell other people about you and what you're doing.
Yeah, and the quality, right? And it's like I don't want like me as a person, I want to help everybody splash, and I know that's not really something I can do personally. Like, nor can I afford to help everybody. But if I can put forth some good faith out there and show somebody, I hope in today's world, the people that are listening to Blue Collar Tribe podcast, they respect the shit out of that. And they go, you know what? Spencer didn't ask for any money. He helped us out. He really brought value. Like, I've done so many free audits for companies that have marketing and website people. And they say, hey, this is what we see. Like, have your person take care of this and that. And they're thankful as hell because their own current company isn't doing it for them. And now they're bringing some other companies audit over to them and saying, hey, this is what another guy says you should be doing. And like, we're not know-it-alls. Trust me, you can never know it all in the world of Google because this changes so quickly. But I can tell you we're really, really good at what we do. And I know if I can provide some good faith up front, that is going to build a lifetime of customers. And that's what I'm in this for. Like there's a lot of companies out there that are going to burn you once and they're going to get going to get your money and you're going to be pissed. But I'm under the impression that if you do people good, man, they're always going to treat you well.
That karma. And one thing I want to let our listeners know, I know that we're friends. We've built a friendship. I've been your friend before you did this, and you've transitioned to this. I'm not having you on because you're my friend. What I'm having you on is because I've seen you grow. I've seen the work you've done. Personally, I've seen it. And also, what makes you stand out, your company, not you as Mr. Plant, but like as the company, you as the owner are always training. You're out learning more about Google. You're out learning more about marketing. You're out learning more about I mean, you'll call me like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, I have a contractor, you'll bounce things off me like, hey, I'm seeing this. Like, how would you, I mean, I think we'll go back to keywords. How would you keyword this? I could sit and talk. I mean, I'm not a computer guy, but in the trades of trades, I can sit and tell you, here's the keywords you need for whatever business you do. I'm going to give you fucking 30 of them.
And he's a talker. If you guys did, I mean, if maybe you're tuning in new here, but Splash could talk to a wet mop.
and it wouldn't dry out because of all the spit coming out. And I'm a poet and I didn't know it.
Oh,
As my kids would say, Dad, that's not a funny joke. But no, for real life, Spence, like your company's doing good. So let's talk about where people can go. I know you have a busy day. You're out helping other contractors. Where I'll do the ad sponsor at the end of it so people can get the phone number. But where's your main niche, your Facebook page, where I usually find all your stuff at?
Yeah. So you can find us on Facebook at Plant Powered Marketing. You can reach out to me personally. My name is Spencer Lund, Lund, or plantpoweredmarketing.com. You guys can check out our website or email me at plantpoweredmarketing@gmail.com. I'm just excited to help anybody that comes from the Blue Collar Tribe podcast, and however we can help make you a long-term client and help you like really truly just dominate the shit out of your competition. Because I've worked with contractors now long enough to know that the majority of you are really good at your trade, and you guys take this is the sad thing about the world we live in. Splash could be the best painter in Utah, the whole fucking state. He could be the best.
I was 2 years ago. I'll admit that. Across the world, I was.
Okay. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Is there some TV show that's going to be coming out that's like?
Wait, maybe I can't tell. I can't disclose everything.
And see who has the paint off. Anyway, he could be the best painter in the state of Utah, but if he doesn't have his proper website set up, his proper Google My Business, nobody's going to be able to find Splash, to find the best painter in Utah to paint their house. So you guys are great at your trade. A lot of times I just don't find you're great at knowing how to do these marketing things. Now they say about 30% of your marketing, besides your door knockers, your door hangers, your yard sign, depending on what your niche is. Every one of your niches have these alternative ways of marketing in the neighborhoods. 30% needs to be digital. So obviously there's no yellow pages anymore, like what Splash talked about earlier in the show. There's none of these newspapers. People aren't doing newspaper ads.
Nickel ads. Did you guys have those nickel ads? I think.
Yeah. You pick them up at the grocery store as you're leaving.
Yeah.
There's people don't do that anymore, and there's other forms of marketing out there, but 30% needs to be coming from digital side of things. And make sure you guys that you're actually setting, even if you're not ready today to start marketing, start setting some money aside for this. Because one of the first questions that we ask people when we start to work with them is how much do you have delegated to your marketing budget per month? And if your answer is, I don't know, or none, I can tell you that doesn't make us want to take you on as a client, because I only want to work with the best. I want to work with people that are super passionate and obviously have some money, because it takes money for my team to make those Google rankings go up for you.
Which in turn is going to make you as the contractor
more money.
It takes money to make money. So Tribers, I want to, and you coined that phrase, so I appreciate it. Tribers. Yeah. Let's set our first rule of season 7. I haven't said any. I've thought about this. There's certain things you need to know. And I think that as business owners, we want to continue to grow. Even for those that aren't, I preach that, sometimes I go overboard with me saying, oh, you own the business. This is not just for business owners. At one day as an employee, you may want to launch your own business, or you may be really good at being a 1A for your contractor. I've had a great 1A, someone who's like, dude, I never want to own my business, but let me help you out this way. And we talk about it on another episode. Go back earlier. It's when I talked to Chris, we talked about Chris is building that team. You're the quarterback. You hand the ball off, you throw it to the receiver. Then once you score or you turn it over, you sit in the sidelines and let the rest of your team, the defense, take charge, let you reboot, let you recharge. So whether you're the business owner or not, if you're listening to this, go talk to your boss. Say, hey, boss, you know what? Splash was talking, to Spencer, and I really think this would help because you had mentioned that we're not really getting the business. If I had an employee that came and said that to me, I'm going to give him a hug. I'm going to say right on and give me the phone number, because you're bringing value. And anytime you bring value to your employer, they're never going to forget that. No matter what the shit you do, within reason, let's be fair, but you're still a valuable asset. So if you've listened to this whole thing and you've not been the business owner, or you don't ever think you want to go into business, tell your boss, say, hey, how is our SEO looking? And he'll look at you crazy. Look at your website, say, hey, why don't we, here's the biggest perspective I can tell you as a contractor. And I'll use Utah. So where I live at, there's Riverton, Harriman, South Jordan. If I had a contractor say, hey, why aren't, an employee like, hey, why aren't we doing West Jordan? Why aren't we doing Murray? It's going to make me think like, well, why aren't we? I could have a whole nother crew. Every crew you bring on, I've heard someone say this, I don't know, and this is in the realm of painting, but with every crew that you build on for the business, after paying what you need to pay, it's about $30,000. Who doesn't want an extra $30,000 for working in another area? Use the spray foam company. He wants to get in, I forget the city you said, but he wants to get in that other city that is affluent in it and needs it. Why not build another team? Because that's what you're good at. You don't need to do all the things in your business. Build your toolbox by adding these things on. Spencer,
something I'll mention, Splash, before we go is, if you are a successful contracting company, you've been in business a while, you have a crew, you want to expand. We've actually brought on and became partners in contracting companies to where we control 100% of the digital marketing for a portion of the profits or the revenue. And that's a very attractive, because now it's like we have, if you're a roofing company, you now have an expert that is going to grow your company and make you way more than what you're going to pay out to them. And so we partnered up with some contractors. I'm a partner in a couple businesses already now. That makes sense. And they pay me on a monthly basis, and it gives us permission versus if you hire us on a per project basis, now you're paying just for that project to get done. After the project's done, our hands are off. When you become a partner, now I have skin in the game. And one thing I do like, Splash, is I love money. I came from a poor background. I don't ever want to be poor ever again. And I love money. And so the fact being that I love money, if it makes sense, we're going to partner with you, deploy 100% of our strategies, and get your company to just explode. And so that's something I'll offer out there to any blue collar company that's interested in bringing us on as a partner. Obviously, it has to make sense, but I'd love to hear from some people.
So when you say partnership, if we can, I like this. I had seen a little post or two about it. I own a business. I own Frank's Roofing.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to continue to grow, but I don't want to manage any of it.
Yeah.
Can you give me a little bit more of what that means? Meaning you'll do the marketing in the areas that I'm in?
Yep. So
you're going to you'll schedule my bids for me?
No.
Okay.
So essentially we're going to, like, for example, a roofing company that I'm a partner in Atlanta. Essentially what we do for him, he didn't have a website, been in business 6 years, no website, just real blue collar, good old boys club, which that might work in some of your more rural areas. I don't know how well that was working in the suburbs of Atlanta, but he really wanted to grow, wanted to bring me in house. And so, for example, we built the website out. We got his Google My Business listings up and going. We've optimized out those Google My Business listings, and it's all for a percentage of every month. So he's out there selling jobs that they would normally be selling, knocking doors with door hangers and yard signs and all this other stuff. We're doing the whole back end digital side of things, getting him to rank on Google. That makes his phone ring more. And now I'm getting a portion of the proceeds.
Nice. Get a hold of Spencer if you guys want to journey down, you want to continue to grow your business, or you just kind of want to check up on your website, or you're fresh and new and want to get out and say, listen, I want to be the number one. I want to be the number two, the number three in my world of what I do. It's not, it's not unattainable. It's very much attainable. You just have to be willing to buy the tools. And I'm a firm believer that plant powered marketing is one of the best tools you can have on a continual basis for yourself to continue to grow your business in this blue collar world that undoubtedly is going to continue, and always, you will always need blue collar work. So why not be the lead in technology while you're leading in the space that you kick ass at?
Well, the thing is too, like if you're on top of your marketing game, uh, every contractor's business has quote unquote a slow season. I can guarantee you, if you're sitting close to the top of Google, your slow season is nowhere near the slow season, right?
Yeah.
So if you're on page 3 on Google, that slow season is going to be very difficult to where, at least you're probably able to keep your staff on during, if you're a painter in a rainy area, well, it may be hard come the winter months to keep your, guys on, because interior painting jobs probably go down a ton, so what's that look like from, position 1, 2, or 3 on Google, or position 20? I mean, that's the difference of basically maybe being in business and not in business.
I love it. You guys can find Spencer online on Facebook. We'll put all the links in there. He's going to send me some hot maps. We'll post them up. We'll show. We'll do some TikTok videos so you can see those as well. But he's the man to go to for that. He has a wonderful team around him, and you are continually growing, which I love, and that's a testament to what you do, which shows any contractor that's in this space that if they want to grow, why not go with someone who's going to continue to grow themselves? Makes sense. Well, anything else you want to say, Spencer, before you had to run?
No, man. I just look forward to helping the blue collar tribe folks.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with with another plant powered message before we go. Thank you, Spencer, and we'll leave you with this.
Attention tribers. Plant Powered Marketing is your cutting-edge marketing agency specializing in SEO, Google My Business, website development, and many other strategies that get you ranked #1 on Google. We're your go-to marketing agency for businesses who want to see real, tangible results from their online presence. Our team of experts has years of experience in getting businesses to the top of Google and generating leads through effective online marketing campaigns. Remember to let us build your next website. Contact us if you want to outrank the competition. Plant Powered Marketing, 971-570-0511 or plantpoweredmarketing@gmail.com.